I can't finish while you hang me out to dry. I can see you every night. Free.
David, it's good to hear you singing Nirvana.
Oh, get used to it, Neil. I've just been speaking with Chris Novoselic and...
And Nirvana are reforming with you as lead vocalist?
How did you know? Were you eavesdropping?
No, just a lucky guess.
Well, Dave Grohl is calling me at some point for confirmation, and hopefully we'll get Pat Smear on board as second guitarist to back me up.
Well, good for you, David. Listen, I'm still angry at you for locking me out of my flat.
No, don't mention it.
I'm not thanking you, David.
You'll thank me in the long run, Neil. Maybe you don't feel that way right now, but once you realise how essential your training was, you'll thank me. The sooner you come round to this way of thinking, the better, really, Neil. It doesn't suit you being angry.
Well, I can't help feeling angry when I've been treated badly, David.
Au contraire, Neil. Au contraire. I have treated you as a friend. It's worth pointing out that I am very fond of rose-flavoured Turkish delights, so when you buy me my present to say thank you, you might want to consider that.
Right, I'm not talking to you about this anymore. Not right now, David, because you need to go and see Sue, remember?
I will go and see Sue at my leisure.
No, she demands to see you now. Otherwise, you're not allowed to sleep in the studio tonight.
That's blackmail.
Maybe so.
Well, I'll come and stay at yours.
You will not. Go and see Sue now.
Oh, Pat? Oh, hello, Pat. I can't talk for long, as someone wants to see me. I can't think why. Now, are you going to play backup guitar for Chris, David and I? No. It's a yes or no, Pat. Oh, yes. Absolutely. Well, then I'll see you next week for a cream tea and Betty's. It's in York. Oh, not New York. Well, you have to fly over. Oh, Pat. I'll sort the flights. Neil owes me a favour anyhow. Okay, ta-da.
Sue.
Like most babies smell like butter. His smell smelled like no other.
So this is actually a very disappointing thing that's about to happen. I've got David here because his behaviour has been absolutely outrageous.
Oh, thank you.
No, outrageous is a bad thing in this context. Your behaviour has been appalling, unkind.
It has not.
Yes, it has. And what I'm going to do is explain to you what you've done.
Oh, is this thing about locking Neil out again?
Yes, it is that thing about you locking Neil out of his flat, so that poor old Neil had to spend the night sleeping at the station. He had to wash in the sink, David.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, not good, not good.
He's lucky there was a sink to use.
No, and this behaviour and your attitude now is unacceptable, because it's like you don't seem to understand that what you did was actually very mean indeed. It was
I get it. It was maybe a little bit tough for him and it wouldn't have been too pleasant, but what he doesn't see is the bigger picture.
No.
I'm training him.
No, you are not Neil's trainer.
Oh, I am.
No, you are not. Neil is in a position of parenting you and supporting you. You haven't earned the right to lead or train anybody. You've not put in enough time or care. You just on a whim, a mere whim, you ended up doing something that was actually very cruel and quite dangerous.
Well, had he had spent a little bit more time with me on his 2 days off, then he might well have already been in the flat. He only got locked out the flat because he wasn't in it.
Right. Now, this is actually getting down to the heart of why you did it. So it wasn't done so that you could give Neil a much-needed lesson, because Neil doesn't need any lessons. You did this because you felt bad, didn't you?
I did not feel bad.
So you didn't feel bad at being left?
No, I've got things I can be getting on with.
Okay.
David ate for one.
No. Right, so Neil has told you. No, Neil has gone through all these things with you and explained actually it's nonsense. It's like fantasy. But actually you're sitting in the chair and you're knowledgeable, but you're not.
Oh, yes.
Yes, you are knowledgeable, but you haven't got any life experience. You're making yourself sound like you've got this experience, and really none of it is true whatsoever. And we're all right in allowing that to happen, but when you do something that's dangerous, well, when we're not all right.
I don't think people understand nowadays what dangerous really is. I've lived in the Amazon forest with nothing but a small hunting knife. Not even clothes on my back. I had to source them from animal hide, if I'm quite honest with you. It wasn't pleasant, it wasn't pretty, but I did what I had to do.
No, you're not being honest with me. You're not being honest. What you're doing is you're deflecting my interest, away from what I'm trying to do, which is explain to you about your dangerous behaviour. I'm trying to explain that, and what you're doing, you're deflecting me away, like you always do, distracting me with these made-up tales.
I do not distract.
That's what that was.
If I have distracted you, then that is on you.
No.
I am not distracting anybody. I'm just telling you how it is. David as David sees it. I have lived a dangerous life, and if I try and help someone and others perceive that to be maybe a little bit harsh, well, that's their problem.
No, if I for 1 second could think and believe that the reason you're doing all this is because you're trying to help Neil.
Oh, yes.
Well, I don't believe that. I don't believe you're doing that. I believe it's like you've just pulled these ideas out of the air and you come up with them afterwards to try and justify your behaviour, which is sometimes extremely random.
Mm-hmm.
And that's making it sound nicer than it probably is.
Mm-hmm. Daniel?
No.
Daniel!
No. And this is
No! Sorry, Daniel.
This is another thing that needs to be
I might have to call you back, Daniel Bedingfield. This is not a good time for me.
This is ridiculous.
I'm currently in a very important meeting.
You are in a very important meeting, so this behaviour of yours is even more annoying. Pretending that you have a phone in your head.
This is confusing me. Daniel, I'm so sorry. I will have to call you back in maybe a minute. It's a meeting. It'll be over shortly.
David, are you...
Okay, ta-da.
Are you really hearing? You hearing this voice?
Daniel Bedingfield.
That you're not making up. You hear it.
What?
You hear his voice.
Yes, I've got a phone. It's an earpiece inside my head.
No, you haven't. This is a made-up thing. Do you know what I'm trying to work out? Is whether you're poorly.
I am not poorly.
Whether you're poorly in your head.
Every morning, I take a little bit of milk thistle, a little bit of milk of magnesia. I rub a little bit of lavender into the back of my neck. Yes.
I think there comes a point when a person...
And I pop a leech on each leg.
Oh my goodness.
And that sees me right for the rest of the day.
Nothing wrong with your imagination, is there? And your creativity, they're intact, but...
Oh, absolutely.
But I'm bothered at this because it's, on the one hand, if a person is good at creating and lives in a rich fantasy world, that's great, that's all right, providing they don't end up believing their own lies, and even worse, acting on them.
Yes. Oh, I couldn't agree more. That's very important.
It's very important.
I'm very lucky in that respect.
How do you explain what you did to Neil then? How do you explain that you actually locked him out of his own flat?
Well,
how would you like that?
I suppose I didn't really consider Neil.
Well,
I just thought, what would a strong man do in this situation? Well, luckily I'm a strong man, so I just did what I did instinctively. I locked him out, and I yelled at him through the letterbox, and I said, Neil, you're not coming in. You've got to learn a lesson, my boy.
Right, okay. So I think what you need to do is to learn that you do not have the right to act on your random ideas when it affects other people. You took this to another level. You actually did something that hurt another person. This is different to you sitting there and entertaining us with your stories. And it's stories is what they are.
Well, maybe it was a misguided decision.
It was misguided.
Maybe I was a little... Maybe my judgment was slightly clouded by the fact that, yes, I was quite angry with Neil. He promised that I could come back to his for a second chance and try and make a go of things, and then he was barely even there. So I got a little bit angry, and when he returned, and let me tell you, he returned quite late at night. Yes, it was about 7 p.m. And I thought, you know what? You're not getting in, sunshine.
Ah.
Yes.
So I don't know whether this is true as an explanation, something that you really think, or whether it's something that you've just pulled out of the hat to get yourself out of a sticky situation. It could be either. But let's give you the benefit of the doubt. If this is the case and you were feeling lonely,
Yes.
and you were feeling that you were somehow going to get things even, I can understand that feeling. I can understand why you'd feel like that. That makes sense. But the bit that's wrong is what you actually did as a result of it. That took that to a next level of nastiness. You can't do that to someone. You actually can't do what you did and pretend, oh, I was teaching you a lesson that you needed. You know, and I need you to apologise to Neil.
Yes, I will apologise to Neil.
A proper apology so that Neil understands that you know what you've done wrong. And
That's absolutely. But I really cannot help thinking that Neil is going to thank me.
Neil's never going to thank you for that, David. No, he's not. He's not. How would you like to... I'll do it again. How would you like to spend the night in a station?
It's very familiar territory for me. Yes.
Not.
Yes, I lived in a train station in Saudi Arabia for about 7 years.
Oh.
Quite remarkable. Yes.
It's difficult to maintain a serious conversation with you when you keep interspersing these other things, these other ideas. Right, I want you to agree you are going to apologise to Neil.
I'm
properly.
going to apologise to Neil, absolutely. And I'm very sorry, but this can't go on much longer, this conversation, because well, yes, I need to apologise to Neil first and foremost, and then I need to get on speaking to the other members of Nirvana.
No, oh.
Yes,
right, okay.
oh, yes.
Oh, one thing. Right, okay, I'm just going to deal with the one thing. You apologise to Neil,
Yeah.
and never again do you do something like that to Neil. You think before you act.
Never again will I hurt Neil. In the words of Gary Barlow.
Okay.
I won't hurt Neil again, I will apologise, and you know what, I'm starting to think maybe I was a little bit in the wrong.
Okay, David. All right, let's see how you do. All right.
Okay, I still think he's going to thank me though.
He's...
That was one hell of a lesson I taught him.
Do you have to have the last word every time?
No, I don't have to. Okay.
Okay.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Love David.
Love Sue.
And David.